and welcome to Brettcast Movie and TV Talk. It took myself a while to get into The Walking Dead. At the time, I was a fan of movies like Resident Evil, Dawn of the Dead, and other zombie movies. I didn't see any of the show till I was in high school, and I asked one of my friends about it, and at the time it was in its 4th season, but she had seasons 1 through 3 on DVD. So she let me borrow them and I watched them, and that's when I became hooked. I watched the 4th season as it aired on AMC, and from then on I've continued watching to the current season. But this show has become, well, formulaic and quite repetitive in its nature. What do I mean by this? Well, it's like this. In The Walking Dead, our characters usually go to a place that looks safe, and they stay there a while, grow and develop as characters, but then circumstances arise, and now this place they're staying at is no longer safe, so pack up your stuff, lose a few people along the way, and move into another place. Again, seems safe. Just rinse and repeat for 8 seasons, and somehow people are still watching, including myself. But hold on, is everybody still watching this show, or are they not doing so well? I found an article done by Forbes that really helps my point here. First episode of season 7 had 17 million viewers, but by episode 2 went down to 12.5 million, and by episode 5 dropped down to 11 million views. Then they gave 5 reasons as to why the viewership drop happened. Fans didn't like how the premiere played out. Fans are tired of AMC and the showrunners jerking them around. Fans don't like Negan. Fans don't like seeing Rick's group subjugated. And fans hate how fractured the show is. They had a bonus point saying that fans are just tired of the series, and I am sure that is true. But if they really are fans, are they not supposed to love everything about The Walking Dead? I mean, I like The Walking Dead, but I don't love it enough to call myself a fan. They really shouldn't have attached the word fan to all these points, because they are complaints that general people who just watch the show because it's the least crappy thing on TV would say. But all these points make all the right points here in saying that after 8 seasons, AMC isn't doing anything new with the show. It's their show. They own the whole darn thing and profit directly from it. They've gotten to the point where we've known these characters for a while now, so none of them really develop anymore. At the start of season 7, when they introduced Negan, I was curious to see how his character was going to develop over the season. But like 2 or 3 episodes in, you realize what Negan's type of character is going to be, and then the show becomes not that great again. Then there's the action sequences that never change. Shooting from cover for a while is pretty much the standard in the show. You can always count on our bow and arrow motorcycle guy, I can't fucking remember his name, to bow and arrow some people, and then, Michonne to cut some people. Even when some of Rick's group do stealth infiltration on a place, they just roll through all the bad guys and that's it. Sometimes they try to throw a wrench in there by making one of them unarmed, and then people have to make a decision whether it's right to kill an unarmed guy that still works for the enemy. Drama! My point is that the action sequences are not that exciting anymore, and there are hardly any zombies in the show. Not to mention, the fault I find is that the characters get into large-scale gunfights, and they seem to always have plenty of ammo for the gunfights. It's very perplexing because they would literally have to be going out and searching for ammo anytime they're not in a fight. With that, they all carry military weapons, which makes the idea that they always have enough ammo seem even less of a possibility, more likely to come across various types of handgun and shotgun ammo, and ammo for rifles like hunting rifles, ones that average people would have, rather than ammo for AK-47s and M16s, unless they're making their own ammo, which pretty sure they're not. Then there is no way they should have the amount of ammo they appear to have. I've heard a lot of people saying that they're dropping The Walking Dead because they're bored of it, and I don't blame them. I feel unless Season 9 really does something to really change the series in a drastic way, I don't think I will continue. At this moment, Season 8 is at its mid-season break, which is another part I have never liked. Honestly, it's like once The Walking Dead started making AMC money, they thought it would be better to have the season become split. That way, before a season premiere, they can marathon every past season of The Walking Dead and do the same again when the mid-season premiere rolls around. I also want to add that after 8 seasons, they still use the zombie jump scare thing that is just dumb, because the characters are used to zombies being around, and honestly, zombies are not that quiet. Then there's the other show, Fear the Walking Dead. At the beginning, I thought this show was going to do something vastly different from The Walking Dead, and at the start it kind of was, but not really. They still don't show how the infection actually starts, kind of patient zero thing they use in the novel World War Z. They just have another family in another location where the zombie outbreak occurs, and it just doesn't work. I don't really remember what season The Walking Dead was on when the first season of Fear the Walking Dead came out, but we were so used to things that happen in The Walking Dead makes characters in Fear the Walking Dead look stupid. All those things that a new zombie movie has to incorporate, right? Figuring it out what zombies are and how long it takes an infection to make someone turn, and on and on and on. It's also worth mentioning that the characters are bland and boring as the other characters on The Walking Dead. I was okay with the series when it came out, since the first season was only like 6 episodes, and I was happy for this to be its own 6-episode miniseries. But because AMC owns everything related to the TV show rights to The Walking Dead, and having Fear the Walking Dead being a brand new show and not based on any sort of comic book title, AMC saw how popular it is, capitalized on it by making another full series that runs in the summer while Walking Dead runs in the fall. Now I think Fear the Walking Dead is on its 4th or 5th season. I'm not 100% sure, but I stopped watching Fear the Walking Dead because it went and did something that was the stupidest decision AMC could ever do. For me, the most interesting and compelling character on the show was Travis. And what did they do? They went and killed him. Honestly, all the other characters are boring. Madison is someone who is trying to be a mom still, but occasionally goes off and gets drunk and whatnot. It's pretty boring. Nick is just odd. He's a recovering addict that gets thrown into a messed up world, then he just becomes the character that everything he does is written to be cryptic and oftentimes doesn't make sense at all. Victor is this guy who starts as a selfish bitch, then becomes the guy who cares for everyone but keeps few secrets and finally sheds those secrets and cares for the folks he's with. I don't need to talk more about the characters because they're all just as one-dimensional. We didn't ask for this show, AMC, and we really, really didn't need it. The fact that The Walking Dead is on its 8th season while Fear is over halfway through the amount of seasons that The Walking Dead is just goes to show that you're really trying to shove these shows in your Walking Dead universe down everyone's throat. I want to say this. I just watched a video that mentioned how when something has no clear end, people are not going to care about the people thrown into these conflicts. Their example was the Avengers. I think that's a major problem with both of these shows. If Fear the Walking Dead had ended already and managed to tie itself into The Walking Dead, then that would be great. But no, both of these shows just keep going. I've already said that the amount of views for The Walking Dead is dropping with its 8th season, and the fact that the person who writes the comics still has no clear idea of when or if the show and his comics will ever end. I think this lends to the idea that Robert Kirkman has no idea how he can write the end to a zombie apocalypse that has gone on for an unknown amount of time. The The Resident Evil films managed to end the zombie apocalypse in a way that works for that film series. Kirkman has no idea how to go about writing an ending for the series. That or he doesn't want to because of how much of a cash cow this entire franchise has become. This franchise is going to get franchise fatigue. The main series comics are at this time at 176 issues, 28 trade paperbacks. Walking Dead Weekly is at 52 issues. The show is on its 8th season. Fear is on its 4th season, and there are 3 decent video games made by Telltale based on The Walking Dead as well. It's all just becoming too much. For me, once season 8 is done, I may be done with the series. It's boring, it's repetitive, the characters don't develop, and they are not having to make tough decisions that don't seem forced. I don't know if the show will ever end. And if it does, it'll probably be its like 24th or 25th season or some shit. And that's not good. I think that if The Walking Dead continues the way it does, this show will not make it to a season 24 or 5. And if it does, it'll be on the views of truly hardcore fans of the show. But that's all I have to say. So if you want to add to the conversation, leave a comment below. As always, thanks for listening and goodbye.